When Michael Phelps crushed the world record in the 400 IM at the 2008 Beijing Olympics, some believed his astounding mark might never be broken. It quickly became the longest-standing world record in any swimming event since World War II, and the world's best didn't even come close to touching it. That was right up until Frenchman Leon Marchand broke Phelps' record, by over a second, at just 21 years old. An unbelievable feat which prompted Phelps' old coach Bob Bowman to say not only that the Phenom could become even better than the GOAT, but that in certain aspects he already was. Yet even more spectacular than smashing a record that seemed it would stand forever is the fact that Leon did it while being the opposite of Phelps in pretty much every way. Phelps was a complete monster who notoriously ate 10,000 calories per day while training up to 6 hours in the pool. Leon only practices half as much. Phelps' body looked like it was designed in a lab to glide through the water like a torpedo. Leon's wouldn't stand out in a lineup of his fellow swimmers. Phelps was so competitive he would unwind from the pressure of Olympic races by playing high-stakes card games. Leon has been described as relaxed and calm. The comparisons may be constant, but swimming's brightest rising star continues to defy every expectation about what it takes to be great. And while his success might not make any sense, that's just how things look on the surface. Underwater though, it's a whole other story.
We can change swimming by doing this, just take it up faster than we think we are capable of.
To be an Olympic swimmer, you have to start early. Both Michael and Leon did so at 7 years old. But while one took to it right away, the other not so much. Leon quickly quit the sport altogether because the water was just too cold. Luckily, his parents, both former Olympic swimmers themselves, knew how to play the long game. They had Leon try rugby and judo, sports for which he lacked any talent. At 9, he returned to the pool, and this time was all in. But despite his parentage, he didn't seem to have the knack for swimming either. Shorter and less powerful than peers at his club team in Toulouse, Leon realized he would have to focus on the little things. Rather than becoming a specialist, he split time learning all 4 of the strokes, and impressed coaches with his obsessive focus on perfecting his technique. His versatility landed him a home in the 400 IM, an event so brutal that only the most dedicated can tolerate the pain. But he more than tolerated it, breaking through at the 2019 Junior European Championships in Budapest, where he shocked everyone by somehow winning a bronze medal. Little did they know this bronze medal was just a sign of things to come, because in 2020, with the swimming world on hold due to the pandemic, Leon underwent a massive growth spurt, adding a few inches and more than a few pounds to his previously unimpressive frame. And while still undersized next to the most elite competitors, his above-average technical ability more than made up for it, as he went on to dominate the 2021 French Championships, break all of his dad's records, and qualify for the Olympic Games. In Tokyo, Leon continued to astonish, qualifying for the final in the 400 IM as a teenager, giving flashbacks to another swimmer who did so 2 full decades before. After the butterfly leg, the flashbacks continued, as it looked like the now French record holder might become an Olympic medalist. But this was not to be, as he faded fast, finishing in a meager 6th place. Leon left the games in disappointment, knowing that if he had matched his time from the prelims, he would have been on the podium. But there were no excuses. All that matters is that you show up on the day. Leon had not, and while he had proven he could swim alongside the best in the world, to defeat them that would require more training. Luckily, he knew just the guy. Leon, after reaching out via a cold email, decided to travel across the world to Arizona State University to train with Michael Phelps' former coach Bob Bowman. A master of the craft who knew how to get the most out of his athletes, Coach Bowman understood that no 2 swimmers were alike. The French teenager wasn't the physical freak that his former protege was, but his technique far surpassed what Michael's had been at the same age. Training in the desert heat, Leon was prescribed a program of shorter, more intense practices, which drained him so much physically that despite having spent just 2 hours in the pool, he felt so tired that he started going to bed at 5 p.m. On top of this, he had to balance his studies, a daunting feat given his choice to major in computer science.
I think this year I had maybe a couple of practice bad, but everything was great. I was expecting to do my best, but not as much.
All of this would be enough to break down even the toughest competitor, but Leon knew that enduring it would give him a mental edge. He maintained a cheerful attitude, joking around with teammates while finding ways to remind them that he took swimming very seriously. During one practice, when Coach Bowman had his swimmers doing the 500-yard freestyle, Leon asked what Phelps' best time had been in the event. 4:23 it turned out. Leon proceeded to swim a 4:18 in practice, showing that he was in a league of his own. He showed this again at the 2022 NCAA Championships, breaking 5-time Olympic gold medalist Caleb Dressel's record in the 200 IM. as a freshman. That summer, at the World Championships in Hungary, Leon looked to be a strong contender in the 400 and 200 IM. That turned out to be an understatement, as he not only won both, but in the 400 final, he outtouched his nearest rival by well over 2 seconds and came within touching distance of Phelps' untouchable world record.
Even like this week, I found a lot of like mistakes that I can improve for next time.
Getting so close to history to most would have been an accomplishment in itself, but Leon knew he was leaving something on the table. To draw it out, he would have to focus on one of the most underrated aspects of swimming, the underwaters. After a turn, swimmers spend their first 15 meters or so underwater, streamlined and performing a dolphin kick. Though overshadowed by the more recognizable strokes performed after breaking the surface, underwaters play a role in every race, and more so the longer the distance. In events like the 400 IM, they're indispensable. Luckily, Leon had plenty of opportunities to practice this aspect of his swimming. The NCAA uses short course pools, 25 yards long as opposed to 50 meters in the Olympics. As such, the number of turns is compounded. Returning to ASU after Worlds, he honed in on this technical focus. While most swimmers reduce their time spent submerged as they fatigue over the course of a race, he made sure to squeeze out every bit of the allowed underwater distance on every lap. In doing so, he put together a perfect season in 2023, winning 26 of 26 races. But the real test would come on the world stage. With Phelps not just in attendance but commentating the race, Leon appeared in the 400 IM final again at the 2023 World Championships in Fukuoka, Japan. Unlike in Budapest the year before, where Leon barely kept pace with the world record line and faded during the final freestyle leg, this time he went out big. By the time he made his final turn, it was well behind him, and Phelps came to terms in real time on the air with the reality that his last record was going down.
Like, what's happening?
Leon's 4:02.50 shaved a whopping 2 seconds off his previous mark, with almost all the difference coming from improvements in the underwater sections. In the aftermath, Phelps symbolically handed off the torch, a moment which left the fastest swimmer in the world a little starstruck. Despite all the connections, this was their first time meeting in person. And though Leon grew up watching Phelps, he had now done something that his idol had never done. The question now is whether he can do it in under 4 minutes. It's hard to bet against him, cause Leon Marchand is the fastest man since Michael Phelps, and on this day he was actually faster. But though both swimmers are great in their own right, there's still one notable difference. Phelps became the most decorated Olympian of all time. Leon, well, it remains to be seen. But on home soil in Paris this summer, he'll have a chance to put his own mark on a sport which has never seen anything quite like him. And he's so fast that by the time he's done, swimming may never be the same.